I'm fixing it. I'm filming it. What is that noise? Yes, I have a security camera system and it's beeping and it's been driving me crazy, so we got to get this fixed. Yeah, I put up with this sound long enough, so either I have to fix it or I need a baseball bat, one of the two. But this thing keeps on alarming for some reason and I need to troubleshoot it. It's only a few years old. I put in a new hard drive a couple of years ago, and now it's just beeping constantly and erroring, having errors in that, and can't quite figure it out. So what I'm going to do is, before I take the baseball bat to it, yeah, that's what I've been listening to all the time, that noise. And this has been going on for 2 weeks now. Why don't we shut the machine off? I can't find anything in the error logs too. The error logs aren't helping me. Nothing. It just says alarm. Well, found another problem with my unit is the fan's not turning. That fan should turn. So I think we better take that apart. Well, first things first, I want to confirm that I'm getting voltage to the fan. I'm guessing it is. The fan does feel very stiff. So what we're going to do is, before we plug it in, I'm just going to disconnect the fan. And basically I should be getting a positive voltage here and then there. So we should be getting, I don't know, we'll see, 5 volts. I imagine it is going to be DC voltage. And let's see what we got here. Yes, just about 5 volts. So I know I'm getting voltage there. So we're good. Fan is shot. Well, I got my replacement fan. And I'll put a link in the description of the exact part number, but it looks exactly what I need. Even came with some thermal compound tape. And since I'm not going to try to take this off, it's well, I don't want to say glued, but it's on there very, very good. I tried, and I'll just leave it on. It's got the same 3 little screws you take out, so that'll just fit perfect. Okay, this should look out. He says, yeah, sure, identical. Just put it in the lighting outside until you get the other one's position. There you go. Look at this. Ready, finger tight. Okay, well, let's get a power supply on this. Off. Plug her in. Hopefully the fan takes off. There you go. So, that's operational. So, let's get this back together. Well, we want to make sure this power supply is working before we resort to anything. And this is a power supply, input 120, output should be 12 volts and 1.5 amp. Well, we can measure the voltage. Let's make sure it's still good. So let's get my tester here. And we want it on DC voltage. And 9 times out of 10 the center is positive, and you can always tell because you'll see this little thing here. You always tell, you'll see this. C plus is in the center and your minus is on the outside. So that tells you very rarely is the positive on the outside. I've only seen it once, and Well, I did look and I blew up a little computer speaker. So I always double check. So usually 99.9% your positive is in the center. So let's put that in there. And what do you think we're going to get? So put that in the center here, and what do you think we're going to get? 14 volts, and that's about right. You will get a little bit more extra voltage, especially because there's no draw on it. Once there's a draw, it'll knock it down to 12 volts. Okay, so we know our power supply is good. Well, there to go. It finally arrived all the way from Minneapolis. Ordered it on the 5th. Today's the 19th, so 15 days. What is it? Well, you can probably tell by the thumbnail. It's my new Lorex 4K 8 camera. Oh boy, and it's heavy. Invoice said 25 pounds. Here's one box. Here's another box. More boxes. Another one. Wow. It's like Christmas in the middle of July. Well, what's in this box? Okay, so these are the 4K cameras, color night vision. Imagine that's the same here. This box should be the other 4 cameras. Now, what's in this one? Heavy. It feels heavy. Oh, this is the cabling. Yeah, what do you think, Bozo? Huh? The new security system. More cables. 60 feet long, I believe, each of them. Very neat. Oh, looks like the power supply for 4 cameras. And that's probably what's in this box too. Yes, power supply for 4 cameras. And the main box. Oh, here. So there's the main Lorex box. And what's in here now? Here's a little LAN cable. Oh yes, power supply, HDMI cable. And what is that? Oh, a little mouse. I have a cordless mouse, but nice that they give you a mouse just in case. So that's a nice little kit there. You know, I got 4 cameras, 8 cameras, the wiring, the power the power supplies for the 8 cameras, and of course the main box with a 2 terabyte hard drive, and some accessories, a LAN, HDMI cable, mouse. So this is going to be quite enjoyable. Let's start the installation. Okay, so I bought myself an APC UPS. It's an uninterruptible power supply. So that way if the main power goes off, my security cameras are still working. So a well worth investment. You say, well, where am I going to put my new Lorex box? Well, I'm going to show you. So I've got a shelf in between my floor joist. So that's where it's going to get hidden, I guess you would say. And then I will close up my suspended ceiling and you won't even know it's there. Okay, so let's get going to wiring these cameras around the house. Well, here I go. I'm starting to hook up my new Lorex, and this is the VGA cable that goes to my little monitor that's downstairs in the basement. This HDMI cable actually goes up to the TV up in my living room. So either TV, I can see what's on the screen. My Ethernet cable. And this is at the end of this USB cable is a remote mouse USB dongle. So I plug it into this, and of course, because this is downstairs in the basement, the remote mouse wouldn't work. So I've got this pointed upstairs, and basically I can control this now with a remote mouse. I don't have to have it directly connected to this. So they included a mouse, but I have a remote mouse. And believe it or not, I can control that mouse from upstairs, of course, because of this cable, which has the dongle on the end of it. And I can bring the mouse down here and fiddle around if I want to see this. But this is if I'm in the basement, I can turn this on and I can still see what's happening. And I've already got 2 channels hooked up, my channel 7, channel 8. And this goes about 200 feet all the way to my detached garage. And I'll show you how I did that there. And of course, best things to always do is label your cables, especially if you have to take things apart and that. Label them. This is what I did. I came out the side of my house on ground level, put a 90 degrees conduit, and then I go all the way up to another box. You can see my old cameras there. So of course I'm replacing cameras, so I got to put the new cables in. But that's what I did. I went up with conduit to the electrical box. Then I got some flexible conduit to go around the bay window. And then right there is the other electrical box where I hide the wires, and the camera hangs out from that. So I've already got a string tied up there. When I yanked out the old cables, I made sure I had a string. And right there is that string. So I'm just pulling the new cable out. Okay, I've got cables pulled. So that's why you need this 90. Pull the cable from inside the house, and then you could pull it straight up. So that 90 is important for it to go all the way up that tube. And as you can see, I got the old cameras removed, ready for the new ones, and there's my new cables hanging. And of course, you need that junction box up there for the connections. Then you close that cover. And again over here, I still got the string on, but I got the cable to this side. Okay, so let's remove this camera, this older camera, and then let's install the new 4K cameras. Now, of course, once you put this cover on, it's going to squeeze tight on the cable. So put a little notch in it. I just use some side cutters there and just kind of put a V in it, and that's where the cable will go. And then, of course, dielectric grease on all of these connections. Yes, they're in the box, but it's outside in the elements, and that way you always have a good connection. So let's get that done. And then we can put that cover back on the box, and we're all done. Aim the cameras, plug it back into the system, and turn it on. And there we are, all done. I got the 90-degree conduit cover on, and as you can see, you look up, and there's the cameras, all nicely installed. Box cover is on. So that's how I installed it on this house. I couldn't come through the eaves through the ceiling because my ceiling is so tight. It's a 512 pitch. I had no room to crawl up that far to the pitch of the roof. So I had to do it this way. Well, I hope that's a good idea for you. Okay, so I've got 4 more cameras to install. Okay, all 8 cameras are there. And as you can see, I've got it installed in that shelf. So let's hide these cables. Well, there we go. All done. Suspended ceiling put away. This is my second Lorex. The first one I bought in 2014, and looks like the central processing unit fan, the CPU fan, stopped working, and the motherboard heated. And I tried hoping the fan would, just replacing the fan would work, and it didn't. So I had to go out and buy a new system. This is all 4K, quite bright. They say it's even color night vision under ideal conditions. But yeah, so we're all done with this install, and maybe in hindsight, maybe all that plastic conduit, I would have maybe went with 1 inch instead of 3/4. 3/4 was a little bit tough pulling 3 wires, so next time go a little bit bigger, because you never know what's going to happen. In 6-7 years time, the cables got a little bit bigger. So, but I had to go to these cables because they were 4K. The other ones were just normal light for 720. So I'm glad I took the effort to replace all my cables, and I should be good for, well, let's hope at least another 7-10 years. Okay, everyone. Good luck with your project.